Hello, House Reviews here for today's review, and boys, this one I've been waiting to talk about for a while. Well, not so much for a while because it only just got released here in theaters in Australia just this week. Though I don't know, maybe it was the original Chinese localization was released earlier in theaters. I don't know. I have to double check, but Nazar 2, the film that has surprised everyone with its box office records. I mean, look, this film surprised me from the outset. The moment I learned about what it's been able to accomplish, I mean, I've already heard, I mean, the reviews are already, well, one thing, I mean, they're good reviews, but the box office results are it blew my mind the moment I looked at it. I mean, most films released in January, yeah, they're gonna. It's very rare that they stay around and huge successes in the long run. It's very rare that it would be the one of the high, even in the top 10 highest grossing films of the year. And so yeah, you got to keep that in mind. I think the last one that probably came close was I think How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World in January 2019. I think. But over time you do get some. But that's what I'm saying. It's very rare you see a film get that get even close to be amongst the highest grossing films of the year. But with that said, I do know how mainly in January, I keep an eye out for films that are released, outside of America. You got Australian films, UK, India, Japan, China, all these different regions of film, and you occasionally hear some good stuff. Obviously, China in particular, because of the lunar holiday, that draws in a lot of big crowds when it comes to their movies and all that. And after the pandemic, things have slowly changed, and it seems like every year more China's more Chinese films have been growing and growing and making bigger box office successes. Box office gain is what I'm trying to say. So when I heard about this film called Nazar 2, which was a sequel to an anime movie released back in 2019, and that was the big hit of that part, I was like, okay, all right, sounds pretty good. But I wasn't expecting how big of a success it would come. So a couple of weeks later, I took a look at it again around the same time that Captain America: Brave New World came out. I saw the box office results, and it blew my mind. $2 billion, over $2 billion in just one region for an animated film. It, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that paying for this. This has now become the sixth film, I think, or fifth or sixth or seventh film, maybe. I'll have to double check. Yeah, I think it's seventh. Yeah, seventh film to gross over $2 billion. First animated film to gross over $2 billion. The first non-American made film to do so. It, the record, it's topped. Cannot be underestimated. Well, understated, I should say. It's it's huge. And I don't know. Not many people have talked about the original film, and I don't know. I think it just came and went, but the sequel just blew up into something bigger than I think even the original filmmakers even anticipated. I mean, I don't know if they were expecting it, but it is huge to see these results for this. So because of this, I knew I had to see this film no matter when it came out in theaters here in Australia. And obviously it finally did. And I liked it to go. Well, first off, I went to the 3D screening. This is the first 3D film I have seen in theaters since Avatar: The Way of Water back in 2022. And the visuals were pretty good. I thought it looked really good with 3D, and I was blown away with how the martial arts and the animation and all the visuals here and there that they worked out really well. I was really impressed. And I did see the English dub, um, and for what it is, the dub's pretty good. I thought they handled it pretty well. And with the obvious lip movement issues here and there, but you kind of expect that. But I saw it, and at first I wasn't so sure whether the hype and the praise for this was warranted. I mean, because it did start off pretty slow. And look, as I said, I've never seen the original film, so and I only briefly have a bit of knowledge behind the myth that it's based on in Chinese history, where between the war against immortals and demons. And yeah, so going into it, I was a little bit unsure, because it did start off pretty slow and then fast paced, slow, fast paced. But by the time it got to, I think the 20 to 30 minute mark, because this is a 2 hours and 20 minute film. So I say about 30 minutes in, it won me over, and it ended up being a really good experience to watch, especially you're dealing with the subject matter at hand, and I found that it explained a lot of things pretty quickly, and in a way that it still worked out well. And yeah, very good. I mean, the main protagonist is a demon child, um, who I thought was female. Looking at the posters, I didn't realize it was male until I actually watched the film. It was a boy I before I went in, so I was expecting the kid to be female. But and his friend, he's a demon child born to a human family, and then you have his friend who's an official a demon person who can turn into a dragon, or his family can turn into a dragon. Um, I think now, from what I can guess, this happened at the end of the last film, which again I haven't seen. Both of them lose their bodies, and with the help of with their master, he's able to construct a new body for each of them by a war that's going on between the Dragon Kid's father and the demon human's home, results in the destruction of the dragon boy's body, and in order to so he has to share the body of the demon child, which is okay because they're both friends. But in order to prevent an all-out war, the dragon boy needs to get his own body back, and they resolve to do a special trial in order for the demon child to become an immortal, and they have to hide, both the two of them and the master who goes with them have to hide the fact that they're two people sharing one body. And the trial is to collect other demons and bring them back to the temple to become, I guess, slaves. So I guess or servants, ever serving servant, everlasting servants. And I think you can guess where this is going to lead to. And in fact, I will say this is that I struggled at first to figure out who was going to be the main villain in this. I mean, you got the Dragon Boy's father, and all the other dragons in this uh water lava hell place. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention, but it looked cool. It looked cool. But that obviously I quickly ruled that out. And then you got I think his half sister and brothers who can also turn into a dragon, and they are technically the villains. But again, I'm not going to give away what exactly happens. But they do have ulterior motives. Then you have this human demon servant who can turn into an animal, and it looks like he's the main villain. But then we find out he isn't. When we meet someone from his own tribe, or his brother and we see different sides of him, and that changes. So yeah, and then we get to bad guy, and um, yeah, it sort of goes into the twist villain cliche you see a lot in family films, especially anime movies. And while effective as they are, in fact, even then, they are the villains. The main villains in this are threatening, but yeah, you do have to wonder a bit about their emotions. You can kind of guess a bit, but you do have to really question it, think about it for a while. Like, I can't say they're the worst that I've seen, but yeah, they do. You do have to think. Yeah. Other than that, the villains, I should say, I really have no problem with the story. I found it really engaging and easy enough to follow. And I think what helps is that the visuals of this story, of the all the animation and all the visuals help to tell this in the most effective way possible. It really does show all the techniques of the martial arts and the mythology and everything about it. It really helps develop everything, and I'm really impressed with that. The characters, the main demon child who can, he is definitely the most interesting character in this, and I do find him pretty engaging, going through his journey and everything, and what he wants out of life and everything, and yeah, it is pretty good to watch, and and his friend who's sharing the same body is also really good and sympathetic. The teacher, um, Stunt is basically the comic relief, but he's also like I don't know, he's half and half. Like they're trying, he's not. I don't find didn't find him funny, but for what it is, he does mean well, but and it's everything, and you can sympathize a little bit with what he discovers about the villain's main plot. And even the demon sorcerer who I first think is the villain, who can turn into other animals, or shapeshift, I should say, into other animals. He's fascinating, especially when we learn a bit about his family and all that, and what his demon tribe is like. So yeah, there is that. Um, all the voices do a really good job. I mean, I really did enjoy all the actors in this. They all did a good job. There are two the only two I can recall are one is Eric Bowser, but I don't know what who he played at. Again, I'll have to double check in. Michelle Yeoh as the main kid's mother, and she's great. So yeah, they all do a good job. I just can't remember all the names of them. Those are the only two I can fully remember. And well, as I said, the animation is spectacular. In fact, I gotta say, it's the climax of this film is insane. God, it is absolutely insane, and in a good way. Like I have not the action scenes, the visuals, the pacing and everything. This is a great climax, and I could definitely see why people rushed it, why Chinese audiences rushed in to see this. It's it's spectacular. Yeah. I guess the only thing I should be critical over, I've already addressed the whole villain situation, but it's more so with the humor to start off with. I didn't laugh at any of the jokes in this. I already mentioned the teacher, but um, there is okay. I did snicker a little bit at a few parts, but I don't recall when. But I do remember one joke in particular. That yeah, yeah. Look, the the fart joke with the pig. Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm not going to go into full on rant about it. I already just did that with the 2001: A Space Travesty review. But I don't like it, and the fact that the victim of this is a blind guy, I don't know. It just further hurts it. When it comes to blind people in films, and you're going to do jokes with them, they can work. But I didn't think it worked here. Like, I don't know. But I think maybe part of the reason is because, I'm so sick of these jokes, especially in family films. they feel they have to add in there because, you know, kids love this stuff. I'm sure, but there are smarter ways to do it. Yeah, I really didn't like it, you know. I'm sure I'm going to encounter a bit of with the bad guys too, but I think it might be handled better because at least the character in question, it's part of his personality and everything, and yeah, I found it okay enough in the first film, so it should be okay here. But I'm just saying, when that one scene happened, I did just think yeah, I did do that, you know. I was like, yeah, whatever. But in general, all the praise, all the records this film has broken, it absolutely deserved it. Deserves it. Deserves it. It's a great film. Whether or not I think I may have overhyped myself going into this because of what I've heard about it is debatable, but honestly, I still think it's worth looking into just to see how it accomplished what it's accomplished. It is a really good film, and I really hope I see more of what. Obviously, I do plan on trying to see the original film at some point, and maybe even watch the original Chinese dub um, of this, you know. And but I really hope there's more. I really hope there's a sequel, a third film. I would really like to see where this continues and everything. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. But in terms of the set of this film, These Are Two, an 8.9 out of 10 has stars. I liked it, really good. Definitely worth a watch. And if you're a fan of Chinese films, martial arts, and well, Chinese mythology, give it a watch. I'm pretty sure you'll have a fun time. So um, yeah, that's basically it. In terms of what's next on my channel, there are two things. One is Donkey Kong Bonanza. The other is going to be The Bad Guys 2. So, but I'm not sure which one will come first. You're just going to have to wait and see. But in the meantime, House of Masterpieces is out, and I shall see you for the next video. Ciao!